Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. A triple shot of Marcus in the mix, serving you yet another round of fish and grits. February 13th, 2018, one day away from Booty Day. How's it going for you, fellas?
What? One day away from booty day?
It's Booty Day, man. That's
Man,
what
I
we
wasn't
call it.
even ready for that. I was about to talk about Black Panther, and this man talking about booty day.
It's
I said,
Booty Day.
Lord,
That's where
I have
okay,
everybody
to
knock
I have
those
to
boots.
completely
It's going
disagree
down.
with that one.
How's it not? How's it
because
not?
every day should be booty day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like
I'm
the
an
official.
I'm an
It's
old
the
married man, and my wife is very forthcoming. So every day is a good day for me. I'm good.
Every day is
It's
booty
just the
day.
middle. It's just the middle of the month tomorrow.
It's
You
just hump day.
know what I'm saying? Literally.
It's literally
halfway
hump day.
halfway through the month, halfway through the month tomorrow officially. But man, the road to 200 million is about to kick off. Man, this is real now. We right around the corner. Tickets have been bought, I'm sure.
Smell it.
I know my man Wilson said he's gonna see it about 4, 5 times.
Man, might be
Oh,
50, 11 times.
full yin yang twins.
You know what I'm saying?
You done been
But,
to the Panther movie 50, 11 times.
but man, the soundtrack for Black Panther,
Oh my
Hey,
God.
hey,
fire,
hey,
flame,
man.
flame
I'm
on, bro.
talking about that move. That soundtrack got me super hyped for the movie. I ain't much gonna lie. From intro, I mean
Yes,
intro with that Black Panther, Kendrick was spitting flames.
it was live, bro. It was live. That whole album jam. That's probably one of the best soundtracks I've seen for a movie. I heard from a movie in
Since
a long
American
time.
Gangster,
Hey, hey,
Yeah,
American Gangster was off
that's
the chain.
and
American
I
Gangster.
I was just about to say that. That's the best soundtrack I've heard since
Yeah,
American Gangster.
man because it's like back in the '90s. I was thinking about this the other day when I was listening to it. Back in the '90s, that was more of a popular thing with the movies because you had a lot of the black movies. They had a soundtrack like Bodyguard, Waiting to Excel. All those movies had Set It Off, had good soundtracks, and it kind of got lost in the art of film. But when American Gangster came out and Jay said, "You know what? I'm gonna put my stamp on this one." That shit was fucking fire, and I don't know why more movies didn't do it. I know 50 Cent had one with Get Rich or Die Trying. That was pretty good, but this album, I mean, this soundtrack is phenomenal. And then I heard that what happened was Ryan Coogler had, I think he had finished the movie, and he was talking to Marvel about what they were going to do for the soundtrack, and he had an idea in his mind of Kendrick Lamar. So he was going to go to Kendrick Lamar and have him write a few tracks for the song. I mean, for the soundtrack. But Kendrick Lamar saw the movie, was impressed with what he did, and he went ahead and uh took a few weeks. I think it was after Damn and before the Damn tour, and they said Ryan Kluger said like I want to say like a month or two later he sent and he had a whole list of tracks that he had done, and he thought he was only getting three. So I mean, like, damn, that's
Hmm.
winning. That's winning.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
definitely put the hype on it right there, man. That King's Dead really did jam. This boy Future really came
man,
with that
Future really
bullshit,
came
bro.
with that bullshit. I'm talking about, what do you do with this bullshit?
Bro, I was like, what is this? And I was really there like, hey.
I was like, come
I,
on,
was like,
Future.
I just
I
started
can't
looking at
believe
the radio like, I know he did not.
I can't believe Kendrick sat down and
Hey,
heard that and approved
Kendrick,
that shit.
Kendrick saved it at the end, though. The outro saved it.
I
So,
mean, that's true. Honestly, this album really has there's not too many songs I dislike on this album, but to me some of the ones that I personally like are that X song
X
with
was
Two
good.
Chains. Hey man, Two Chains ate that up. Black Panther, that was a standout. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, I personally think Big Shot is is a song that I didn't think would work, but it does work into the theme of the album. The one with Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. Yeah, yeah. No, no, that was okay.
That
No,
song
hey man, I love the whole album. I don't think I listened to it all 14 tracks. It's not that long. It's like 40, it's like 49
14
minutes,
track.
maybe. Yeah, 14 tracks, a little bit under an hour. But man, the whole album it flowed. I like how they stacked all the tracks together. Like it had that real feel to it. And then what was it? Seasons was pretty
Oh,
good
Seasons
too.
go hard. Oh man,
Seasons
how the
was
hell
good.
came in?
So it's
Man,
like
that
man.
that that African vibe, yes, sir.
So
It was. I like how the theme. I wonder how he gonna play. How is this soundtrack gonna play throughout the movie? Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna sprinkle a lot of this throughout the movie. So I can't
just
wait to see that.
just leave the future part out of it.
Oh yeah,
I know
man,
I know
delete
it's
that.
been I know it's already being processed, but
Bro, when I listened to the album, I said, you know what? I'm gonna scroll through this. I'm gonna go to the song, and I said, I pray that Kendrick did some kind of tweak, and he took Future out of it. So what we heard was just some bullshit, and I heard him talking. I said, God damn it, this is real.
just ruined it. But man, what about that Cos, man? I haven't jammed it yet. New Dreamville product. Is this his first album?
Nah, this is I thought it was his first album, but Cause for people that out there that don't know about him, he's in that Dreamville camp with J. Cole, Luke, JID, Omen. So he's in there with Boz, and his first album was Cause and Effect, which I thought was a mixtape, and it's actually was I was doing some research and I happened to see that it is dated as an album, so we're gonna call this his second album. But that Cause and Effect is pretty good if you want to check that out. But Affected, and if you're a fan of Cause, this is nothing but solidifies what you probably wanted and probably what you've been dying to hear from Cause, because it's kind of the same tone, and his cadence is kind of the same how it was in the first, but his production was more improved this album. That was something that a lot of people were complaining about with that last album, because everything sounded like it was in a loop on listening to his album. The beats there was no creativity with it, but with this album, I think he did a great job with his production. And honestly, I like to give a shout out to Cause for having the wherewithal to wait. He could have really dropped this last year and caught the wave of a lot of the rap artists were getting last year with the Rosses and all that, because it was a strong year for hip hop last year. But to release it, in the beginning of the year where not too much is going on, this album should stand out and should catch a lot of people's attention, because for people that are fans of the Cause, like I was saying, this is a great album. For those who are not fans of Cause, this should put you on to Dreamville and have you want to do some research on some more of their artists and just see what Cole is doing. It's like it's 14 tracks, just like how that Black Panther soundtrack is. Cole, he only has 2 features, and Cole and Kendrick are the only 2 features. So if nice. Kendrick on there, so it's gonna be some nice. And that song with Cole is pretty nice. And it's not the greatest album, but it is great from what I've heard from what's been released out this year and from what I heard last year. I put it on that scale of it could crack the top 10, because his lyricism is there, but that production just takes it over the edge, and it really should resonate with a lot of people. If I like 11 out of 14 tracks, so that's saying a lot. So it's better than 50%. So
oh, it's way better. So the Cause Affected. So his first one was Cause and Effect, and this one's called Affected.
It's called Affected. And then let me give a shout out for songs to check for. My personal favorites are Questions, Freak, 45, Proof, Badu. Oh, I lied. He got one other feature. He has oh my God, who is that? Currency on there. I lied. He got Currency on there. I forgot all about Currency. He got Badu with Currency, and he has the song that I think is a standout. It's That Is the Thing, and that song is amazing to me.
I mean, it ain't no Joey Badass. That king to a
guy. Man. Nothing compares to Joey, man. Joey on a whole different other level than everybody else.
Joey probably is my favorite artist that you put me on so far.
Did you listen to this guys yet?
Yeah, I listened to it. Yeah, that one came out last year, didn't it?
What, this Affected?
No, I was talking about Joey Badass.
Oh, that Joey Badass song. No, it came out like I want to say 3 weeks ago. So he must be working on something, because he's been releasing everything on the Pro Era, which is his, I want to guess, his squad that he run in, like TD and all that. So they've been really dropping. I think he dropped like 3 tracks. So I'm really looking forward for some Joey Badass. Any new Joey Badass is something great.
Yeah, Joey be off the chain, man. He be having me going. That boy get me live for real.
But when I listen, I'm glad you said something about Joey. When you listen to Joey, he sounds like New York. He kind of embodies what New York sound was, is that hard grit rap, and it's kind of like it's got a little street flavor to it. But when you listen to Cause, this is what I loved about his album. It sounded like he was from Cali, like he sounded like he was from the streets where he was raised from. With his last album, it's like he didn't know if he wanted to sound a little bit too pop, or did you want to sound like some of J. Cole beats, or did you want to go? And I like how he kept it simple and to the point with his beat selection, and he did a great job. So hey, I think that Affected is something that a lot of people should be checking for.
definitely. So that Black Panther soundtrack, that cause affected, and just get a little time to get that Joey Badass King to a guy. Just give it a quick run.
Oh yeah, and go check out that Dave East. I'm still banging that.
Still on that Dave East, huh?
Oh man, Dave be killing.
I haven't jammed on this week.
Just like his BFF LeBron.
Oh, LeBron.
LeBron James.
He gets man. LeBron has the. I'm sorry, man. He has the silver platter of life. Man, he was just on the. I'm talking about LeBron was depressed. He was depressed on against the Rockies game. He didn't even want to. He said none of our games should be televised. Take us off the air.
Bro,
trade deadline. What happens?
D Wade memes have been killing me.
Hey, bro, we gotta get rid of these bums on our team.
Yeah, you're right.
You absolutely right, D Wade. You absolutely right. We do.
See your broken ankle.
They sent them home. At least they sent them home. They did D Wade right. They sent everybody else anywhere.
I mean, oh no, Jay Crowder went to the Jazz, and Jazz has killed it right here. He's under good coaching.
He sent Jay Crowder to the West, so he ain't got to deal with him no more. That's right. That's why Jay Crowder.
That's true. I can understand that. And then what else? Who else they booted off their squad?
Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thomas.
Derrick Rose got cut already.
We'll get to that. We'll talk
about that later.
We're gonna jump into these trailers that we call that Venom trailer and the Deadpool trailer. How y'all feeling about those? Those pretty late releases. I think they both come out. Well, I know Venom come out October, right?
No,
I believe.
I don't know when Venom comes out.
So I believe it comes out.
Venom comes out like
fall release.
Yeah. I didn't see the date for Deadpool though. Is that gonna be summertime?
Deadpool, I wanted to say was like in May, huh?
Yeah, I think that's
like May. It's like May or June, one of those 2 months.
So which one y'all felt was more entertaining? I think the Venom one had a little bit more action than the Deadpool trailer to me.
The Venom trailer showed nothing. It was literally like
I like the Venom trailer.
Yeah, I like the Venom trailer a little bit.
It's just like you see Tom Hardy walk, Tom Hardy on a table, Tom Hardy. But maybe I already know Tom Hardy act.
It's probably because it's going to be a actual serious comic book film and not the slapstick shit that you used to with Deadpool. Deadpool almost by default has to show you over the top stuff in the trailer. It has to.
Okay, so I can understand how you can be more appealed to the Venom, but it's like from what I was entertained by, Venom didn't really show nothing. I know Tom Hardy can act. I really didn't get to see. I saw a quick shot of the symbiote. But that's it. Like, my money would have been on personally, if you really wanted to lure some people in who didn't know what the fuck was going on, or some common casual people that I think that would just kind of just grab your attention, was if they would have done like the symbiote or show a flash of the symbiote taking over him. You didn't even have to show Venom, but you could at least show them it taking over him, because everybody's like, "Oh shit, what's going on with this film?"
But you don't want to give everything away in your first trailer. I mean,
it's not really giving nothing away. Are you really giving something away? That he gonna go through and show the symbiote bonding
and stuff like that? Then it goes into what kind of origin you showing, because it looks like they're starting out with him going out to the West Coast, which isn't where he got the Venom costume in the first place. So that would kind of storyline themes and stuff like that. Because if you do it under the traditional origin storyline, then you would almost have to assume that Spider-Man would be in this movie.
I'm gonna just throw my hands in there and just be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Deadpool. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Venom. Because if you want
with Venom, it's a cool teaser trailer because it kind of gives you an advanced look, but it gives you a chance to establish him without the Spider-Man mythology directly behind it. Setting it up in San Francisco, setting it away from New York is, to me, one of the better options, because that way it doesn't have to be indirectly or directly Spider-Man centric. He can stand alone on his own and carve his own path.
But he's okay. But what is he? He's an antagonist, but he's a villain. I mean, it's like, what do you?
No, he's an anti-hero. He's kind of like Black Adam in DC.
He became an anti-hero, but he was not intended when he first got released as being an anti-hero. He was known as a villain, and he turned into an anti-hero. But are you really gonna see that? Who are we gonna see Venom fight? I guess maybe Carnage, and then what? That's it. But I'm just like, what is the bigger picture in this? We're so, I guess, accustomed to the bigger picture of how everything is connected, but we haven't really seen anything that stands alone on itself. And yes, I guess Sony is taking a flyer on doing a Venom movie, but you damn near took 2 tries on Spider-Man and fucking failed. And what do you think? You gonna get it right on Venom? And then you damn near.
Did anybody know anything about the villain in the first Deadpool movie?
No,
that's not necessarily taking a big leap, and that was wildly successful, right?
No,
so why couldn't Venom be? I mean, he didn't have to fight an established villain.
But that's not what
he doesn't have to have an arch enemy or anything like that. You can kind of develop that through the story, which is one of the reasons why I like the fact that they're kind of making it his own little thing. They're not really tying in anything that might be attached to anything Spider-Man centric as far as villains, background story, or anything like that. I'm actually kind of excited to see who the villain is going to turn out to be, and I hope that it's somebody that I've never seen before.
This is the picture I was trying to play. Sony had Spider-Man. They did good with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Then they had Andrew Garfield. They shit the bed with both of those. And then what happened? They lended it, they leased it off to Marvel saying, please get our shit right. But then you want to come out with a Venom movie. If you couldn't get your shit right with that Spider-Man, what do you think I'm gonna get? You gonna get your shit right with a Venom movie? So I have literally no optimism. I have no hope in this movie.
There's nobody attached directly from Marvel to this Venom movie. This is all Sony.
This is all Sony. This is all Sony. This is Sony in produced. So this is like, because they still own Venom. They leased off Spider-Man, but they still control like the villains of Spider-Man and Venom and some other extra characters. So this is just their movie under their umbrella, and I'm just like,
So going off of that track record overall, I really don't have too much doubts or anything, and they don't as far as the money goes, because people have gobbled up Sony non-Marvel official affiliated projects for years and years and years. People ran out like fucking sheep and spent tons of money on whack-ass X-Men movies. Ain't nobody have no problem with that.
But
don't really see what the problem will be. But it's still separate from the core material. Whether it be in the direction of Fox, who's done terrible shit with Marvel characters, whether it goes in the direction of Sony, who's been up and down with their Marvel characters. At the end of the day, if they give you something out there that's going to have people gobble up money, they really don't care what hardcore fans like us think.
Oh, I'm not even talking about from a fan standpoint. I'm just like, Tom Hardy, hey, man, it's Tom Hardy. So you know what you get with Tom Hardy. Personally, I thought the trailer from an entertaining standpoint, it really didn't intrigue me any. It may intrigue people out there. From what I seen on Twitter, not too many people really cared for it, so it didn't do its job. So I don't know. It was okay. The Deadpool trailer was impressive, though. I was entertained by that.
But it's like
Deadpool has no choice but to be over the top and entertaining. That's what they make their living off of with that. If you got anything other than that, if you got a serious Deadpool trailer, people wouldn't have liked it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It didn't throw a lot of jokes in there. After I tried the trailer like 5 times. They didn't throw it. It was really darker than the first trailer that came out. They didn't do a lot of slapstick on the customer do, especially with the first movie when they had the trailer release. But this was kind of a darker, serious tone from what I've seen. And me personally, I thought it was more of a entertaining movie where you was like, okay, well, that was really fucking entertaining. I can't wait to see that going on. So I'm just impressed.
Daredevil and serious is almost oxymoronic to say. They just don't belong in the same sentence.
I just don't understand just what's going on. I just don't know what these movies. It's just like you have Daredevil, and then it's like, oh well, we got Marvel buying the Fox character. So what is this movie supposed to be? I don't get it.
Well, you branch out, you try to go through and bring in yet more fans and stuff like that. And, going through and bringing out a bona fide fan favorite with Comic Book Geeks with Cable is going to be another interesting twist. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as we would like to hope that these movies are done for the entertainment of folks that have been dedicated fans that read the comic books and stuff like that, at the end of the day, that's not the case. They're just trying to go out there and get fans that are going to spend money.
Well, Josh Brolin looked pretty badass as Cable, so that was impressive.
Josh Brolin pretty much looks badass as anything. That's one of my favorite guys as far as action movies. He was the only reason that I actually paid attention to Jonah Hex back in the day.
Oh man, that movie was horrible, but he was the best.
He did a hell of a job, though. He wasn't a problem. The movie was trash, but he was awesome in that movie.
And another movie that he was a standout in was W, where he played George W. Bush. I'm like, damn, that movie wasn't the greatest, but man, he played a damn good George Bush.
But that's a habit of his, though. He has a habit of, even in not the best of movies per se, he still does his part and does an outstanding job as an actor. That's all you can really ask for. Like, I've never had a Josh Brolin film that I was like, man, Josh was trash in this movie. He's always been pretty solid in everything that he's done, regardless of whether the movie was solid or not. He always seemed to be pretty good.
I agree. And then one thing I get to give some Fox some credit for, if they're not known for anything else, they were known as casting some damn good X-Men characters because every X-Men character they have cast looks exactly like the cartoon illustration of how it was drawn for them to look. You know what I'm talking about?
I get
From
that. Yeah,
Cyclops
I can agree with
to
that.
Jean Grey to Beast to I'm talking about Magneto, young and old. I mean, they just really been doing a good job with the casting.
I can agree with that.
No doubt, man. What you been catching on Netflix, Wilson?
It's been a sci-fi type of moment for your boy. Checked out 2 sci-fi projects that they have out, both originals. I'll get to the least liked. I watched the Cloverfield Paradox. Sci-fi thriller, I guess, kind of like along the lines of an Aliens type trippy
snooze fest
type thing. Yeah, it the trailers were pretty much better than the rest of the entire movie.
Yes.
Yes. It's like
I mean, I tried my hardest to give it a chance, man, but like it just kind of fell flat.
The trailer was like, oh man, when this shit come out? Y'all look at the movie like, oh man, I wish I had my 2 hours back.
The trailers, it's like, wow, man, I was expecting so much more. And not to say it's like a horrible movie. I mean, I've heard pretty decent reviews from folks, but it just didn't grab me the way that I guess was expecting it to grab me, going off of what I saw from the teasers and trailers and stuff like that. I mean, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 10 at best. It just didn't. It didn't grab her. It really just didn't grab or move me. I'm not saying that it's a terrible film, and I'm sure that there's going to be people that'll disagree and like it, and they're fully entitled to have their opinion on that. But for me,
I think
it just didn't grab me. And I mean, saying that on the fact that right after I watched that, I watched Netflix's original series Altered Carbon, which is another sci-fi flick set in the future. It's got that mashup vibe of a Demolition Man, Minority Report, Blade Runner. It's just trippy in that
Blade
realm,
Runner?
in that space. Yeah, it has little elements of all of those kinds of things that you can kind of see in there, and it makes it pretty doggone cool. The main premise of it is that in this day and age, they've attained the technology to where they can download your consciousness, your mind, and they can transfer it from body to body. They call them sleeves. And they go and they pull a guy from 250 years ago and they bring him back to solve a murder mystery. I won't give away too much because, again, it's a series. It's like 11 episodes. Good plot. I like the writing. I like the tone of it. Like, I don't think I'm giving it enough credit as far as like all of the different elements that you can see in it. You can literally see parts of like The Fifth Element moving in it. It's got good acting. It's got solid characters. It's a very interesting concept, especially in the interactions and how you get to see who the villains are, who the protagonists and antagonists are, some of the plot twists that are involved and stuff like that. But I thoroughly enjoyed that one. That was a good series for me to sit and check out. I give that one an 8.5 out of 10. The only reason why I don't give it higher is because I'm greedy and I wish that there were more episodes. Kind of had my issues with the way that it ended overall, but not end of the world, but from a visual standpoint, from a plot standpoint, really, really solid. I enjoyed it all the way around.
They got my boy Joel Kinnaman. I like him.
Yeah, they got some solid
cars in them.
They have some very solid acting in that movie and that series, rather.
Oh man, I can't wait to watch it. I'm tied up with Sons of Anarchy. I'm almost done. I got 2 more episodes left, and then I'm
watching
done.
it again.
I'm still stuck. Man, it was so good.
The damn semi truck.
Man, me and my wife got into. I don't know how we got into it again, binge watching it over for nostalgia's sake, but
that's what I did.
The last few days, I've been watching Angel. And that shit's been awesome.
I never watched Angel.
Man,
and wasn't that like a spinoff from Charmin or?
It was a spinoff from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
There you go, Buffy the Vampire. There you go.
Man, that series was slightly ahead of its time, and it launched a lot of people that were kind of on the cusp of being known to being very well known. Those folks back in the day when it had the Buffy, the Angel, the Joss Whedon shows and stuff like that, they had the formula because they gave you strong acting from great eye candy. That was the number one hook.
And you know what's crazy about it it's like those TV shows would have been more successful if they were released nowadays than they were.
They didn't have. They weren't appreciated, man. If you could have put one of them, if you could have put like a Buffy or an Angel on a Netflix, like created on Netflix.
Now,
oh my god,
shoot, mega killing. Especially with that. What's that movie? The one with Josh Whedon. Oh man, what was the name? We just said the name of it. They got canceled. I can't think of the name of it. Oh man, it was the one on Fox that got canceled. Oh, Firefly. If you bring that back, whoo, shit. I love Firefly.
Yeah, Firefly was like a cult classic. That had a tremendous following, and they can't. I was pretty pissed about that, but I'm not gonna go there.
Don't get frustrated, Will. Don't get frustrated. I hear it.
And if you ain't checking up on nothing on Netflix, you can go ahead and I think it's already been released, or it may have if you got your Fire Stick or whatnot. But Kingsman, the sequel, I finally saw it. God damn, that was a good movie.
Yes, it is.
That was a damn good movie. I'm mad I waited this long to see that.
Is there anything else y'all checking for?
Oh, that's it, really.
Nah, bro, I'm not checking for anything else except for these movies. Starting in 2 days.
That's what I'm saying. We about to be so tied up. We ain't gonna be worried about nothing else.
I cannot wait, man. I cannot. I can't wait.
Matter of fact,
only other thing that I really watch on a consistent basis or make time to watch on a consistent basis is Black Lightning.
Damn, that's what I've been missing. I'm probably like 4 episodes behind. I gotta get.
Well, I mean, it's natural because we're always recording when it's on. So
that's why I be forgetting.
You got a DVR, yeah. You just got a DVR and catch up if you can.
And what's making it worse is all these NBA games on TV now. So it's just like, oh damn, I'd be like, look all these other shows.
It's officially NBA season, my brother. That's
I may never see another episode of Empire. Sorry, they may not make it back.
DeMarcus, did you mean to say that it's officially pitchers and catchers reporting baseball season?
See, Griff ain't like us. See, when I told him that earlier, he just about.
Yeah, I know Griff was probably like, snooze button. Yeah. I missed it.
Pull up the pillow and give me a bed.
I'm asleep.
Y'all can talk about y'all baseball. I'm not here for that.
He just looked down his nose at us when we talk about America's pastime. Yeah, whatever you people.
I'll be good and knocked out while the time be passing.
He be talking about us like Quincy Jones over there. That's what he's doing.
I be snitching.
I hope not that bad. I hope not that bad.
Quincy letting all the laundry out, ain't he?
Man, he was. Quincy is a prime example of why you don't let old people do interviews.
What? Exactly, because he was telling everybody business.
Quincy said, "Who's gonna ruin my career now? I'm 100 years old. You can't do nothing to me. I say whatever the hell I want to say." He was banging them. He banged all of them.
Sleeping with everybody.
He slept with everybody. He slept with a mailbox. Really, Quincy?
I said, "Damn." He was talking about the drugs being that powerful. I said, "Jesus." I said, "Tell on to everybody."
What was that scene in Home Alone when he was sleeping with their mother?
You know what's funny about this? It's amazing that we live in a time where being a celebrity is not as amazing as everybody cracked it up to be.
Social media era is terrible.
Social media is killing them.
The social media era is pretty much like the same thing as expansion in a major sport. It just kind of waters down and dilutes the talent. And some people that probably wouldn't be all pros or wouldn't be famous are kind of by default. Mm-hmm. Social media allows anybody, the most random motherfuckers on earth, to literally gain celebrity status for like absolutely no reason.
Absolutely doing nothing at all. No create. I mean, I guess I give you credit, but you didn't create. I don't know, man. Some of these people be intelligent with the little sticks that they pull up. That's your
some
stick.
Folks that go through and they promote their brand and they smart about it and they know how to use that social media to their advantage to kind of bolster their brand. But then you have some folks that are just completely random and they just get famous for like the dumbest shit ever. And it's like, why are y'all even promoting this? Why are y'all liking this?
Yeah, that's the world we live in. The world of stitches and social media.
And then everything you say is like. it could be an alert on the phone, like, oh, look what Quincy Jones said. Let me see why I got 6 notifications about Quincy.
Okay,
Jones.
You get it from Quincy Jones or you get it of LeVar Ball. It's one of the two. One of them talking.
I first saw all that Quincy Jones stuff pop up. I got nervous. I was like, did he pass away? What happened? Not Quincy. Oh, he just outed everybody.
He said Michael did all this. Oh, well, we're not surprised.
I get all like he didn't have to go dishing the dirt like that. Bro.
He didn't have to dish the dirt, but it's like you told, but it's like we live in a time where everybody's dirt is being aired out. So it was about time somebody come out and say some other shit. So it was just like, it's like whatever. I move on.
He 85. Quincy Jones need to be sitting his ass down somewhere, bro.
Don't let 100-year-old people in front of a microphone.
Please,
they'll tell you. Hey, they keep it real. Y'all know.
You think they learn from Bob McNair, but nah. Keep letting these old folks talk.
Hey, you keep letting these old folks talk.
And then you get surprised with the
oh shit. That's what you.
What y'all gonna do? Kill me? I only got 2 years left anyway. I don't care.
I'm about to expire.
No,
I'm like milk. Ain't got no time left. But yeah, Quincy was off the chain, bro. Quincy was off the chain.
It was. He was trying to talk more about Prince, and the interview just got stirred, kind of a way that he wasn't ready for. But he looked like he didn't give a fuck either.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
Quincy
here for
really admitted that he had hoes. He got
he had a lot of hoes.
22 girlfriends. They all know about each other, so it's all pimping. It's all good. I was like, oh.
He said Lou Will ain't got shit on me. He got 2 girls. I had 22 at the same time.
Who only does 2, Lou? You better step your game up.
Get 22. How about that?
What you doing with your life?
Oh, okay. But he did out Richard Pryor, so that was kind of one that everybody was like, hold on now.
Well, hold on now. He didn't. It had been long known that Richard Pryor had always talked about his bisexual tendencies.
Oh,
that wasn't something that was new. Yeah,
for me.
People just never paid attention to that kind of stuff. It's been well known for people to pay attention for a long time that Richard had bisexual tendencies and preferences. That wasn't anything new. And his widow actually came out and co-signed what Quincy said and was like, if Richard was here now, he'd be laughing at y'all being so surprised by it.
Oh, damn.
She wanted
shit, I'm surprised.
Same too. Everybody want to snitch on over Richard while he gone.
Man, Richard like, what the hell I do to y'all? Shit.
Yeah, let me live. Let me live my life. That's all he tried to do. Tell these jokes and do what I want to do. That's
okay.
Gotta be all up my ass. But man, my man LeVar Ball said something very interesting. He said Lonzo would not re-sign with the Lakers if LiAngelo and LaMelo are not Lakers also. Do y'all buy into this, or is it just media talk?
I personally feel like the media flames too much shit. It's just like he probably was having a casual conversation, or he's probably bullshitting, or he's probably telling the truth. Who knows? Who cares? That's his comment. And I love it how the media was like, well, the Lakers are not going to stand for this bullshit. The Lakers need to get rid of Lonzo because of his father. No one cares. The Lakers haven't been concerned, so why the fuck do we care? Now, one of his teammates have come out and said, fuck Lonzo. Lonzo needs to get out of here. No one's on tweeting or no one's fucking taking on no...
maybe nobody interviewed Isaiah Thomas yet, so coming.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean... How long will it be until Lonzo's up to resign?
3 years, right?
3 years, I believe.
They got 4 years of cap control, then he's restricted after that.
Yeah. So literally much ado about nothing because we got to wait until the next Olympics to wonder if he's going to resign or not.
What?
Cool. All right. Yeah.
Fish and Grits will be a radio show by then.
Thank you for that, LeVar. I don't know why he didn't mention at the same time that, the sky's blue, water's wet. Okay. Appreciate it, LeVar. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It is what it is. I just feel like the media always loves to buy in to create a story, to create a narrative.
The media no longer exists to simply report the news. They have to give you their opinion and their spin on it. They have to do stuff to generate fanfare and likes and retweets and hashtags. That's the name of the game now. So it doesn't matter if it's necessarily like immediately newsworthy or not. It just had that good keyword in it, LeVar Ball. Instant clickbait.
And they get so creative with these headlines. Like I think last Thursday at the trade deadline, I seen Jordan to the Cavs. I'm like, oh, they got DeAndre Jordan? No, Jordan Clarkson. They just never. They be fooling.
They take the full thing.
They be fooling.
Oh, even better is I saw a headline a few weeks back. Curry to have season-ending surgery. What? The chef has no. It's his brother Seth.
No, Seth. Seth.
Oh, got me. You got me. Y'all got me. I was about to say, I'm about to go to Vegas and change my bet.
Russell Wilson traded to the Yankees. What?
Yeah.
Like, yo.
When did he retire from football?
I was about to say, I know Seattle ain't. That's too.
Okay.
Russell traded to New York. Oh, the Giants came up on the quarterback. Nah.
Damn, the Jets finally got somebody.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they be killing with these headlines, man.
They try to flip it all, and then they love to call him a bad father and saying that his sons hate him. I just be like, damn,
kiss my ass with that stupid shit.
That is so disrespectful. I'm just like, how you gonna sit up there and speak on somebody you don't even know? No, you don't know how Lonzo feel. You don't know what his reaction is. They try to paint it like Lonzo and LaMelo and LiAngelo and whoever else is all terrified of their dad and they can't do shit. I'm just like, it don't make any sense. I think the media is they wrong for what they be doing, but you know, we want to get in that realm one day of radio talk, but I hope we don't have to deal and tell lies and spin stories to get likes and get pushed the
Now we're gonna keep it natural. We ain't gonna be on
that's weak. Just keep it real.
Exactly,
man. That's what Steve Kerr was trying to. He's just trying to keep it real. Have a little day
Kerr
off.
Is full of shit.
Let the players coach a little.
Hey, if you can get your Barry Switzer on, get your Barry Switzer on, fella.
It was so funny. Kerr was like, Kerr, why'd you have your players out there? Well, it seems like over the stretch of the last 2 weeks that my players are tired of hearing my voice. It's like listening to Charlie Brown and womp, 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 womp. So I let the players say, I was like, what, Steve Kerr?
No, Coach, we got it. Coach, we got this one. I was like, Coach, we got this one. Sit your ass down.
You said your back is hurt? Sit down. Just go back to the locker room. You know what? Just stay home.
You want your back to start hurting again, Coach? Then I suggest you sit down somewhere.
Like somebody put him in the sharpshooter for 2 months.
Okay.
Who ain't getting no playing time right now? Come here, David West.
Don't catch no elbow to this back, Coach. Sit down. I told you we got this. I feel kind of awkward.
But I love how the media kind of flipped that too. They try to make it seem like Steve Kerr was so just rude to the Suns and disrespectful, but it's like, Suns, y'all losing my 50 points. This is NBA.
Man, that has nothing to do with the Suns. That was just Steve Kerr taking the opportunity to get a little chill in.
So y'all forgot Don Nelson used to get kicked out the game so Avery Johnson can take over. Like, he used to get literally thrown out the game.
Bruh, coaches have been getting kicked out of games on purpose for decades. It's another tactic.
There's one narrative that no one's painted. I didn't hear no one come with the storyline of Steve Kerr is showboating in front of his old team that he used to be the executive of basketball operations. He was like fronting, it's like, oh, this is why y'all let me go. You see what you could have had?
A little FU to the team, huh?
Okay. Honestly, I think that they was in a team meeting before the game, and Steve was trying to talk, but like Steph and KD kept chatting in the back, and it was one of them classrooms. It was one of them little classroom situations, and Steve was like, "Oh, y'all not gonna listen to me? Y'all think y'all can do it better? Then do the shit. Fuck y'all, do it."
But it's so funny because it backfired on his ass. Could be like, well, we won by 50, coach.
Hey, coach, you want to sit out next game too? I mean, you don't even have to get on the plane, player.
I wish that would have happened back in the day. The teachers let me have the control of the classroom, and we all make like fucking perfect scores on our tests, and be like, "Oh, you can just retire right now. I can take your job."
Thanks for the A, teach.
Now
pat myself on the back and shit.
Beat it. Get out of here.
Get your bum ass out of here, woman.
Whoa.
Or man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go, teacher.
Or man, but I never had. It's so bad because it's amazing that I want to be a teacher. So when I was subbing whatever, there's nothing but females or women as teachers. I'm just like, are men just scared to be fucking teachers? It's just like what teachers and nurses are two things that males don't feel like they should go into. I'm just like, what? Whoa. It's like I don't remember having any male teachers when I was at Westfield. I can't remember.
I only had 2 from kindergarten to high school graduation.
That's crazy.
I had a couple male teachers, but don't you dare disrespect Gaylord Fokker like he wasn't one of the best nurses that we ever seen in life.
Hello.
Did you just say Gaylord Fokker? Oh.
Put some respect on me.
Yeah,
you threw it all the way back with that one.
Just like you gotta put some respect on these Cavs. The Cavs going back to the finals, Griffin. How you feel?
Oh man, I was pissed, man.
Man,
LeBron, it's certain people that you look at in life and you say, God damn, I want to live their life. Damn, they got it good. Oprah Winfrey, Obama now. You know, he got the bearded, he all suited and booted, getting all the lights. You got, huh?
I said Obama's so player right now. You can't tell.
You got The Rock. You know, The Rock is living life. Antonio Brown. You know, Michael B. Jordan. You know, the cast of the Black Panther. You just living life.
Oh, you talking about Josh Norman? Okay, yeah, Josh Norman. Yeah, he doing it.
Oh, this dude said Josh Norman. Lord, it's certain people you look at and you say, "Damn, you living that good life." LeBron James has it fucking made. Man, he bitches.
He's the king.
He pouts. He sits on his corner. Yeah, my team is so. Take us out TV. What happens? Voila! He has a whole new fucking team.
I need more playmakers.
Yes, Marcus.
Yes, sir, Wilson. Yes, sir.
I believe the old people phrase is the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil, right?
That is true.
Oh, and he got the oil. He got the WD-40. They poured it all up on him.
He got that premium one oil change a year oil over there.
Man, LeBron, you know that headache.
Got that royal purple.
You know that headache that was getting on your nerve for the past 2 weeks, and Isaiah Thomas, poof. Poof! You got two new players. You know that bum that's been sitting on there contemplating retirement, Derrick Rose? Send him off! Poof!
To the pit of misery. Dilly.
LeBron winning in life, man. I know he was happy, man. You can see on that Sunday night game. I ain't seen LeBron that happy in a long time.
I wish I would have went to the practice like, whoa, Tristan's still here. I thought we got... Oh, nobody would take his contract, LeBron. I'm sorry.
Nobody taking that bum-ass contract. But blame LeBron. He the one that got to pay.
That
is true.
Funny. It's so funny. The two people LeBron probably wanted to really get rid of were the two people he pushed for the hardest for the Cavs to sign, in JR and bum ass Tristan Thompson.
I think he cool. Like, you need a JR Smith. Like, I really believe.
And he gunning like his job is he one foot out the door.
JR being JR, like this what he does. He's a streaky shooter.
It's around that time. It's around that time for him.
When he get hot, the J.R. Smiths, Lou Williams, Gerald Greens, Jamal Crawfords, you need one of those type of Nick Young. You need one of those type of players that can just get hot.
Just launch it and hit everything.
Just launch it, hit that, because when they start getting hot, they're gonna reel off about 4 or 5 threes in a row, and ain't nothing you can do about it. So
but sit there and take it. Pop.
Gotta have a J.R. Smith. You wouldn't want to get rid of him. I thought they would have got rid of Kyle Korver, and I really thought they would have been able to get rid of Tristan Thompson.
It's crazy. Kyle Korver don't get no love anymore. They run that Osman dude.
He just Kyle old now, man. Like,
okay. See, this is the thing about it, man. Kyle was saving the Cavs for a while on a lot of those games because there were some games where they should have lost, and Kyle was coming through with a clutch 22 points a night and something like that.
No defense.
That don't matter. Hey, man, he was putting up points. They were playing
on that team. You got, and that's the problem. Like, you got Kyle Korver, you got Isaiah Thomas. Nobody trying to play defense. Derrick Rose don't care. Dwayne Wade was looking so sad. Dwayne Wade could not wait to get home. Gabrielle Union was waiting on the jet before
the announcement was even made.
Man, I'm so tired of this cold ass shit. Yes,
baby, we're going to Miami. What? I got a game tomorrow.
Bro, they got off that team, start salsa dancing. He couldn't wait to put that Heat jersey on. Boy,
LeBron said he was tired of being peanut butter and jelly. He was like, man, you got to leave, dog.
New sandwich. I want a turkey sandwich this week. I don't want no
peanut
butter. Man, but yeah, Rodney Hood was a steal. And if they happen to, let's think about this. If LeBron signs there, and you know the Cavs have made it very clear that they don't mind spending a fuck ton of money. And just think about that. If they resign LeBron and they still got that Nets
draft pick,
shit,
well,
Cavs could be dangerous.
You gotta think about it like this. Like, I finally think Cleveland gets it. Like, hey, this dude will leave, and if he leaves, that team is gonna be so like, look at the Hawks right now. The Hawks lost all their stars, and look where they at. Like,
just dead in the water.
Once the star power leaves, you're really gonna be one of those bottom teams that's gonna be losing 50 to 60 games a year. So you got to do your best to at least please LeBron, bring some more younger pieces, like getting Nance, getting Clarkson. Those are long-term deals. You know, 25-year-old players.
Man, the steal of that entire trade barrage, man, the ultimate X factor is going to be George Hill.
Because he can run the 2 guard, he can run the point guard, he plays damn good defense,
and he's a 2-way point guard that's very unselfish. That's going to be long when it comes to dealing with a LeBron-led team.
And as much gripe I give the Pacers about trading Kawhi Leonard, this guy still made 2 trips to the conference finals with the Pacers.
Please believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that was a damn good team. That's the hardest thing I ever had to do as a coach was trade him, knowing that you got Kawhi Leonard. That says a lot.
But this is another thing, and this is going to be another glaring thing that I'm going to talk about is George Hill is known for not being healthy. So, and especially over the past few years. So it's going to be really interesting to see if he can stay healthy. But a healthy Cavs is a scary Cavs. So, I mean, better watch out for them Raptors out there.
That's why I think it's best that
they're scared. Let's temper that statement a little bit. A healthy Cavs team is a scary Cavs team in the East.
Yes, sir, because they getting blown out by them Cavs, Rockets.
The West is like, yeah, cool, bro. You got you some new teammates. That's great.
Nice.
You sure you want some of this smoke? No? Okay, well, all right. We'll give y'all a couple of months. We'll give y'all a couple of months. It's cool.
Y'all don't want that smoke. They ain't ready. They ain't ready. The Cavs is gonna be. It's gonna be interesting to see how far the Cavs go. It's gonna be interesting to see if that whole chemistry works. And
now, Wilson, I do gotta ask. Were you a little surprised that the Spurs were so quiet during the trade? I know y'all don't make a lot of noise, but I mean, throughout the year, y'all haven't brought no free agents in. Y'all haven't made any type of trades. Do you feel like this team is fine?
I wasn't surprised. I was encouraged because for them not to pull the trigger on a deal lets me know that somewhere behind the scenes they are somewhat confident in the ability for Rudy Gay and Kawhi Leonard to come back before the season is over. And as we all know, when you put Rudy Gay and Kawhi Leonard back in that rotation with all of the pieces that they have, all of the young guys that have gotten a ton of experience throughout this season, it's a different team when you have those guys there. Those guys do a lot for them when it comes to both sides of the ball. They're really key in their small ball lineups and stuff like that. And it's basically their number 1 and number 4 scoring option that they've been missing for the entirety of the season. I take it that way because I know that if it was some sort of sense of desperation, if there was some sense of, okay, these guys aren't coming back, then those Derrick Rose to the Spurs rumors would have kicked back up again.
I thought the Avery Bradley was going to.
But it did kick back up because they just he got released.
But they didn't kick up as bad, and that's what I'm saying. Even when him getting released, they still haven't kicked up as bad as they were in the offseason. But going through with them, man, I think that they're also really happy in the fact that the guys that they have now have been fighting really hard. Yeah, Murray's future is bright.
What's that other dude on your team that went off against who'd y'all play when he started going off? Oh.
You're not talking about slow-mo, are you? Anderson,
yeah. Anderson was balling the other night.
Kyle Anderson, he got that vision though, man.
He's good.
I like got that old man game. He's that old man sneaky game. He's not too fast, not too quick, but he gets the job done, man. And you go through and you look at that, like Boris Diaw looks like Tony Parker in his prime speed-wise compared to Kyle Anderson. Like they call him slow-mo for a reason. Tim Duncan said I can beat him in a foot race. I mean, he's slow.
Brady said, let's go.
Yeah, but I mean, you go through and you look at some of the parts that they have right now, man. A lot of these young guys that are getting experience in the games and stuff like that. And if it works out the way that they want to and they get Kawhi back, I'm hearing now that Rudy Gay should be back sometime right after the All-Star break. That'll definitely give them a little bit more season and it'll make them a more dangerous team because for all that they've been going through, for all the injuries that they've had and stuff like that, it's literally amazing to me that they're still a 3 seed.
You know what's amazing? What's really impressive about the Spurs is you can't underestimate Pop, and you also have to give some praise to the Spurs that they didn't need to make any moves for the simple fact is they have LaMarcus Aldridge that's still, that's resting right now with that ankle. I mean, that knee problem. Wasn't it the knee problem?
I want to say it was his knee.
Yeah, they have LaMarcus Aldridge. Still got Kawhi, who's one of the, if not the best two-way player. You still got Rudy Gay. You got to come back. But a lot of their players that didn't get that you wouldn't figure would get a lot of minutes are getting more minutes of quality time to build and establish and get ready for what's going to come into the playoffs. So Spurs are a team that you got to look out for because they're going to be healthy. So it's going to be interesting.
Man, Wilson, what do you think about this day and age of point guards compared to times past? Because I feel like the point guard is starting to become that elite position that where if you don't even have a top premier point guard, that you're not going to have a lot of success in this league. And then you look around the league with the young guns from De'Aaron Fox, Mitchell, Dennis Smith, then you add in your Westbrooks, your CP3s, your Kemba Walkers, your Kyrie Irvings. Like, is this the strongest crop of point guards you've seen in your time?
I can do you one better than that and just say historically the league has transitioned from in its early beginnings being a big man league to getting around to like 80s and 90s where it was more predicated on 2s and 3s, or mainly 3s. It's all like historically it's always been 3s, whether people want to admit it or not. Historically, there have always been superstar small forwards in every generation of the NBA.
Larry Bird.
In the 80s, it was heavy on small forwards and centers. In the 90s, that transitioned over slightly
to shooting guards.
No, and the only reason why I can't co-sign for that is because far and away from the majority of Michael Jordan's career, he played against great players, but the majority of them did not play the. Kobe Bryant played better in his career than Michael Jordan did. The 2000s was a better era for 2 guards than the 90s.
3 guards, and 2 and 3.
But again, you can put the 3 in any generation. The 3 is automatically going to come up because there's always been superstar 3s. That's without question.
Mm-hmm.
This age is arguably the most point guard heavy as far as actual legitimate superstar talent at the one spot than any other era in basketball for me. You have so many dynamic forces that are playing the point that I guess in previous iterations and generations would have probably been 2 guards for what they do. But there's so many that are so versatile. You have the traditional floor generals out there. You have the offensive-minded guys. You have the two-way guards. You have the lockdown defenders. Like, anything that you want, you can find it out there in today's NBA when it comes to point guards, man. We exist at a time where guard play, this is officially the era of guard-heavy basketball. This is
see a lot of
small ball era.
That's why you see a lot of. That's why you see a lot of stats are inflated. That's why. That's why people compare. This is what's going to scare me. That a lot of what's going to go down in these years to come is going to diminish what a lot of people will say about a lot of the point guards of old. And that's the thing that's going to bother me, because you already got the stories out there that Steve Nash wasn't as good as Steph Curry and all this, or you got Jason Kidd wasn't that great, or
now don't get me wrong, when it comes to stuff like that, and we do that in all sports, is that when things come up and they're newer and bigger and faster and brighter, and oh my God, they shoot so much better, and this, that, and the other, a lot of people don't take a lot of things into consideration. All of these guys nowadays get to run free because there ain't no hand checking, there ain't no zone defenses and stuff like that going on. I mean, but if you're talking to the right people that actually know that, then they can put it in proper perspective. Now, if you're talking to these new jack kids that don't look at anything but analytics and stats, well, I mean, they're not worth talking to in the first place.
How many threes they make?
Because I'm gonna let you know the debate.
Because one of the biggest things is you can go through and poll a lot of people that are between the ages of maybe, I don't know, 18 and 30, and ask them what they think about somebody like an Isaiah Thomas, and you'd be surprised about what you hear.
Pistons Isaiah Thomas?
Pistons?
Yeah, Pistons Isaiah Thomas.
The greatest
the real Isaiah Thomas. But you'd be surprised at how many people don't even rate him that high.
Because that dude was good. He was a good
floor.
Both ends. You talking about a floor general. Both ends. He was like Mike Conley,
classic floor general. He could turn up, he could light it up, he could score. There wasn't anything that Isaiah Thomas couldn't do. And until this young man Irving showed up, he was my undisputed #1 pick for top ball handler of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Mike Conley remind me of, honestly. His game, his ball control,
his game style is like Isaiah's, but he's not as offensively talented.
Oh yeah, he's nowhere.
One thing Isaiah didn't get a lot of credit
Isaiah could score 10 straight on your
man. Isaiah would get them moments where he would go on them personal runs, and it's like, damn, this little dude is.
I like that you said that, like, and that's exactly what it was. It's like, oh, you think you can outdo me? Okay, watch
all
this.
Right, let me show you up.
This. Yeah, let me show you what's up. Let me show you what I can do. Now, Joe, you chill right there, Joe. I
miss that basketball. I miss that type of basketball.
The one thing that I will say, in defense of previous eras of point guards and stuff like that, is the foil to that, or the counter to that, is the fact that point guards from the past that we consider great, they were fucking great. They earned every accolade that is bestowed upon them. There was no indisputable evidence. There's nobody that's going to argue or, oh, they were overrated. They were bullshit. Every great point guard that we know of that have come down the pipe, the Isaiah Thomases, the Magic Johnsons, the Oscar Robertsons, the Jerry West, the Gary Paytons, the Jason Kidds, the Steve Nashes. I mean, people can say what they want and have their opinions about them. Them dudes earned all of the credits that they got, all of the accolades that they got. They earned them. I mean, you can't take that away from them. Nowadays, with the way that the league has changed as far as its philosophy, the pace and space, everybody going out of their way to create shooting opportunities and open up the floor and stuff like that, it kind of, like you said before, it gives way to maybe having an overinflated view of some of these guys from a stat standpoint. Now we all can do the eyeball test and know what's up. We know a good point guard when we see one. You know what I'm saying?
We didn't see a lot of back in the day. There wasn't a lot of skill players, as in you were just catch and shoot. You had those rare catch and shoot players, but not everybody was catch and shoot. You had to go out
there and play basketball. You had to do more than just catch.
You had way more than catch and shoot.
Yeah. You couldn't stay on no roster like that back in the day. They wasn't going to keep you just because you could stop and pop.
Yeah, that's why I would say this era of basketball kind of started with Derrick Rose, because I feel like Derrick Rose is the first point guard that you cater the system to.
And like the only MVP in NBA history that won't be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is true.
So you said Derrick Rose. You said that. Okay, so you said you had to cater
every NBA.
Like he was the first point guard to where you actually catered the system to. Like you ran through your point guard, and since then, that's all you starting to see. Now you starting to see that with Lillard. We seen it with Westbrook. But you seen it with Isaiah Thomas. Like you seen it with Kyrie. Like you can run the system through point guards. Before Derrick Rose, that wasn't very popular in the NBA.
So we wouldn't give Tony Parker that love of Pop developing the system.
Though. Pop is not going to
no.
Like this was Derrick.
The Tony Parker thing is different. It just speaks to the philosophy that they run on. The difference with the Spurs philosophy is the fact that they don't run anything traditional as far as the point guard being responsible for facilitating. Everybody passes on the Spurs team. That's why he's never had high assist stats. They've always wanted him to be aggressive and score when he got the opportunities and dribble and penetrate to open up shot opportunities, but they've never predicated and you can go back in the history of the Spurs, period. They've never been predicated on point guard play.
But see, and then DeMarcus says Derrick Rose, but it's like we can't say Derrick Rose because they didn't. The Bulls didn't cater the offense around Derrick Rose.
I think what he's saying is the fact that
he was the
Derrick
first.
Rose kind of started the trend on the fact that you ran everything through your point guard, as far as not only being a playmaker but being your number one scoring option. I can kind of feel where he's going from, because let's go back and say, who was the last point guard you saw before Derrick Rose that was like the number one playmaker and scoring option on the
team? Steve Nash, but Steve didn't.
Derrick Williams when he started taking over for the Jazz.
That was Jerry Sloan.
But I mean, how long did that last? A year, 2 years?
That lasts for a couple years, or you can say Steve Nash. But like you said, I say Steve. That's what I was going to. My argument was going to say, if you want to be honest, then you can say Steve Nash was the originator, because everything.
You can say that, but Amari Stoudemire was the number one scoring option, though. He wasn't the number one scoring option and the number one.
Oh, he said the scoring option too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The number one scoring option and the number one playmaker.
Yeah, that's why I
think Derrick Rose was the first two-guard point guard. I felt like Derrick Rose the first.
Oh, yeah, he was no doubt a combo guard. He was.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. If it wasn't for the fact that they immediately made sure that they made it a point to start Eric Snow all the time, this conversation would have started with Allen Iverson. But Allen Iverson played the majority of his career at the 2.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
That would have been the only other case that I could have made for that being the same kind of thing like a Derrick Rose, because Allen Iverson was the 76ers everything, but he just wasn't the point.
See, and that's what that's what my only argument is going to be with DeMarcus on that Derrick Rose was. I think James Harden is the reason why the game is what it is now, and then you
can say that, but Derrick Rose in 2010.
But listen, what I'm saying.
That trend.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about this, because they didn't. Why I say this debate is Derrick Rose in my mind is like the first combo guard to play point guard, because if you want to say you cater the offense around him, that means that you were the person, a point guard that passed the ball, and Derrick Rose did not pass the ball at all.
He still had 7 assists a game. He wasn't getting high numbers, but
let's go look at the stats.
Like 25.
You'll be surprised. Derrick Rose was not passing the ball hardly at all. That's what I'm saying. If you want to say the first point guard that literally you'd say that you had to cater your whole offense to, and you started to do that, would be James Harden, because he's the first player I've ever seen that the whole offense is catered off.
I think you're missing the whole point. Like, I get what you're saying with James Harden, but Derrick Rose in 2010, he set the pace for the guard play that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He set it for the guard to become.
Fellas.
That's what I'm saying. He took it away from being a traditional point guard to being more of the fast-paced slasher point guard, the two guard.
He sped the game up.
And I hate him for it. I hate him for it.
And this is our most recent example.
I do hate him for it.
There's been people before that have done this. I mean, you have to go back and remember that you have people like a Nate Tiny Archibald, who actually led the league in points and assists. You have a Jerry West, you have an Oscar Robertson, who are the epitome of everything ran through them, and they were both points. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you had a 5-year average for Oscar Robertson in the prime of his career, where his 5-year average was a triple-double.
I think his first rookie year, he had 50 triple-doubles. You
go through and you look at stuff like that. So, I mean, he's not the person that set the trend, but that's the most recent indication that kind of led to the evolution that we have now.
And that's what I was saying.
He's the quote-unquote the score first point guard. It's not the pass first point guard anymore. Ugh, disgusting. I hate you, Derrick Rose. I hate you.
He ruined basketball.
He did.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop that.
I loved it when the traditional point guard where it was like the point.
Well, I mean, I can't sit back and co-sign with that, because my team has a score for first point guard, like, through their entire heyday. Because Tony Parker was never a passing point guard per se. He was always a score first point guard.
Tony floater game was so vicious.
Oh man, when you do that up and under, like you bump him a little bit.
Man, I never forget that one time I seen Tony. I said he can dunk too. God damn, this nigga.
Hey, Tony was like,
they said, can the Frenchman fly?
Man. Tony validated himself in 2014. I said that's what validated Tony Parker, where people was like, guess what? It ain't just Tim Duncan, it's Tony Parker too. Man, 2014, that nigga's balling. I'm talking about he could not be stopped.
I mean, you got to remember in 07 when they gave LeBron his first L, there was a reason why he got the MVP. I mean, he lit them the fuck up.
He did, but it was kind of like, and then it was like Ginobili's there too, because Ginobili was killing that series too. And
Ginobili was killing them in 05, and I hate the fact that he didn't get no MVP love then.
He should have,
because I thought Ginobili should have won it in 05. I honestly did, but I understand that it was Timmy's world, so I'm not tripping. But Ginobili acted a fool in 05. He did his thing in 07 too, but 05 was Ginobili's best finals.
And then also, I didn't give no love to Tony. Okay, and also for 2007, they played the Cavs, so I was like, it's the Cavs. You can like them. They was garbage. They had Drew Gooden as their second leading scorer.
Dilgauskas,
come on, Dilgauskas.
Hey, we don't pick the opponent, sir.
Larry,
I'm talking about when y'all.
It ain't the Spurs' fault that LeBron scored 27.
Man, talk to Detroit about that. I thought it was a rematch with Detroit again.
You ain't lying.
It should have been, man.
I think they was looking too far ahead and they forgot about that.
Yeah,
they did. They pulled what is that? The Steelers.
They forgot about the kid from Akron, and then the kid from Akron had to run to Duncan like, hey, nah, it's still my time.
Man,
it's still my time.
That was a payback. Game 1, he looked at LeBron and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. You the young cat that dunked on me at the beginning of the year, right?"
Okay.
Let me school you right quick. Sit down, young fella.
Good luck.
Got some
good luck this series, fella.
Man, I miss those old games. Man, Detroit used to be something to watch. Boy, I miss those old times watching.
Oh, those Pistons was.
Basketball. That was like team. That was like team basketball in the sense of everybody was hard working. You talk.
Oh, that was a throwback team. That was a throwback team.
And I'm just talking about the players in that era, because I think about when I was looking at the ceremony that they did for Paul Pierce, and a lot of people have been kind of knocking. I know you don't like Paul Pierce.
Who Paul Pierce? Go on,
Paul Pierce.
Oh man, it's just deep seated. It's deep seated resentment from all them years of watching him choke.
He went to Kansas.
Exactly, and he played with a whole bunch of NBA players. And what did he do at Kansas?
Nothing.
Didn't do nothing.
Exactly. So don't blame me. I like you. Thank you.
Paul Pierce didn't do nothing.
Thank you. You took NBA squads to the tournament at Kansas and couldn't get over the hump.
Did you stab Paul Pierce? That's what it kind of sounds like.
He probably did.
No, I wasn't the one that stabbed him. No. I mean, I respect his game. Don't get me wrong. I respect his game. I respect what he accomplished.
Man, that early 2000 Celtics team was one of my favorite. The one that had like Tony Delk, Pierce, had Antoine Walker, had Eric Williams.
That's a hard worker.
That was one of my favorite teams. Tony Battie. I don't know why I like Tony Battie, but Tony Battie played hard, bro.
Yeah, crazy.
Tony played hard, man. I don't care with nobody.
See, and while you was loving the Celtics, I was loving my Mavs back in the day around there. The Michael
I was a Kings guy. I'm not gonna lie. And I wasn't a Kings guy only because the Lakers rivalry, but I like that starting five: Mike Bibby, Pager, Doug Christie.
Oh, Pager was man.
Bobby
Pager was
Jackson
killer.
coming off the bench with Helu Turkoglu. Man, that was my squad.
Hey, shout out to Pager who got a ring with the 2011 Mavericks. Let's go.
Pager was on that team.
Yes, sir. He came through in the clutch.
I think he's the only one that got a ring off that team.
Yes, sir. He came through in the clutch. He came through when he needed to come through.
I thought Mike Bibby was so cold.
I thought Mike Bibby should have got a ring. Hey, but you know what?
Mike Bibby was one of my favorite guards back in the day.
Hey, but when he went to the Hawks, I'm like, who is this? And then you look at him now looking like Vin Diesel.
Hey, but he got a ring. He got a ring.
With who?
He got a ring with the Heat.
He was on that Heat team?
Yes, sir.
The second
stint.
Right.
He was there with the Ray Allen. See, and we was talking about this because Ray Allen released that statement saying, "Oh, Paul Pierce, blah blah blah, no bad blood, blah whatever." The reason it's like people they would have been cool with you going to Boston if you would have won and you weren't a factor. You were just an afterthought. You was on the bench or something like that. You hit the biggest shot to save LeBron's career. I hate you for that.
He calls Duncan like 6. Duncan should have 6 rings.
Oh, Duncan!
They should have went back to back.
I'm still mad. But you know what? Would the Spurs have gone back to back? I challenged that because I say they were more motivated to go back.
But the Spurs was at a high rate at the time. They had young Kawhi. Young Kawhi wasn't no joke.
But think about this, because after
but man,
they had young Kawhi, but the Spurs was looking dead at the end of that.
Danny Green was on fire. I hated Danny Green that whole series. He wouldn't miss nothing.
He was stroking. he was stroking.
He wouldn't miss nothing, bro. You can't tell me that team would have went back to back. They had too much.
You go through and you look at it coming off of the heels of 13, if they had won it, and the fact that they had pretty good health all the way through 2014, you'd be hard pressed to say that they wouldn't have gone back to back. There was no team in the West that was really ready to take them down. There was no
Grizzlies in this shit, and they was just gonna win by 2 games.
Yeah, that was the only reason. That was the only team ready yet, and then there was nobody else really in the East.
They went through the tunnel.
After that beat down in 14, the way that they took it, I wouldn't have saw them even, and especially if they had beaten them in 13 to come back and figure that they were going to come back and like get revenge in 14. That wasn't going to work.
See, that was the only reason why I was knocking it is because if y'all would have won it in what was that 13, I felt like sometimes when you get the championship, you get off the gas. The Spurs are not known for winning the back-to-back of recent, and I thought OKC
they needed.
But I thought
that team had everybody in their prime. They was playing at high levels.
But this is the thing. I thought OKC was going to catch them slipping. I thought that's what they was going to catch them slipping. I thought it was going to be the last year of the James Harden.
Russell was fucking up.
He was fucking all the way up. See what I'm talking about? Fuck you, Derrick Rose. It's your fault.
That was another one of those. That was another one of those situations where you go through and you have the folks like the Mike D'Antonis that'll run with that hard 8-9 man roster, and then you have other folks that'll take advantage and they'll run a 12, 13 man roster. And with the Spurs team that they had in 13 and 14, you had to respect player 1 through player 15 on that squad. They were deep as hell, and everybody contributed. That was the thing that kind of made them a little bit more dangerous than all of the other teams that they encountered at the time, because that was Oklahoma City's biggest problem at that time. Their bench wasn't good enough to carry them over whenever KD or Russ was out of the game.
Oh man,
that was their fatal flaw.
Hey man, that's Boris Diaw was holding it down. Boris was coming out giving out some quality minutes.
Boris was
killing it for the Spurs.
And having a triple double if he played 36 minutes.
Hey, Boris was looking like he was gonna get him a $20 million contract the following year. He was dropping dimes left to right. He was going with the pullback.
Like, I'm trying to get these rings. I'm trying to let y'all know what it is, homie.
Then he went to France, 18 bag in. He started.
Went to Utah and died. Career
Drinking,
just died
drinking
off.
those French connections and start tripping.
Oh,
I'm telling
on
you.
a magical side note, guys. Yeah. Props to the CW and DC with this Black Lightning series, because seeing Black Lightning's daughter in costume officially for the first time, holy shit.
Oh, well, I can't wait to watch that then.
Fine as frogs here. You hear me? Let me say it like an old man.
Look at
Fine as frogs here. You know how fine frogs here is? That's how fine she is.
It's so fine you can't see it.
Let me buy you
okay,
a
you can't see it. You can't see it. Biscuit, girl, you better come on over here. Let me buy you this fish sandwich, girl.
That cup of boudin.
Ain't nothing but some mothballs.
The one pack. Why they give you one pack of crackers with the cup of boudin? I got it. Like, bro, what I'm gonna do?
What I'm gonna do with this one thing of crackers?
What I'm supposed to do with this?
Break it to 4.
Y'all can
Like, come on, son. Even the Mexicans down the street at the seafood restaurant give you about a handful.
Okay.
At least give me.
Then when you ask them for extra, it's like, that's 34 cents.
Bro, they trying to hit you with the Popeyes quote. Hey,
I'm appalled that you would even ask for such.
When Popeyes give you one sauce with 3 chicken tenders, what am I supposed to do with this, son?
2 dips is gone.
And I got fries.
Hook me up, man. But before we close out the show, my man Wilson want to drop the Black History moment for today. The stage is yours, my brother.
Yeah. In honor of this impending $200 million weekend for the people associated with this Black Panther movie, it would be remiss of me not to remind folks or tell some folks that, you know, while I am certainly excited by the fact that everybody is getting behind this project and there's so much love being shown to it and stuff like that, you know, don't buy into the thing of, oh, well, this is like brand new narrative. This is something that, you know, oh my God, it just came out of nowhere. I mean, you have to understand that people have been involved with comic books and comic book companies going back decades, over half a century, as a matter of fact. I'll shed light on All Negro Comics was actually a company that was started in Philadelphia in 1947. They printed one issue, 48 pages, legit glossy cover, newspaper print on the inside, the whole 9 yards. They charged 15 cents for their copies while everybody else was charging 10 cents at Timely and DC and Marvel and all them other spots. But it was the first comic company that was published, written, drawn, all by Black people. And this was in 47. Which predates a lot of the people that you have now. You've seen people come through all walks of life, coming from writing and producing movies, animators and stuff like that, who have come into the field of comics. For a lot of people that don't know, you have people like Dwayne McDuffie, who passed away in 2011, that a lot of people may not know. Did a lot of the writing for the Justice League Unlimited cartoon series, for Teen Titans, for the All-Star Superman animated film. He was the co-creator of the African-American imprint at DC Comics called Milestone Media, which gave you characters like Icon and Rocket, Hardware, and most famously, Static Shock.
I love a good Static Shock.
Yeah, you got different people that are in the game right now behind the scenes. You know, it's more than just the images that you see, but the people that are responsible for a lot of the images. You know, you have people like a Felicia Henderson. She wrote and produced for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, Sister Sister. She created the Soul Food cable TV series. She wrote on Static Shock and Teen Titans for DC. She's one of only 2 Black women to ever write for DC Comics. Maxine Shaw from Living Single. Anybody remember her?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes, she actually writes a very good sci-fi comic on the Dark Horse imprint called Concrete Park. Her husband does the artwork. Very multi-talented lady, and a lot of people wouldn't have known that. You get a guy like Kevin Grievo, who a lot of people would recognize as the guy that created the Underworld movies, did the I, Frankenstein. He came out with a nice Marvel book called Adam, The Legend of the Blue Marvel, which talked about a civil rights era superhero that was forgotten about, that you can actually read in the Ultimates and in the Avengers books now. You go through and you get the three, well, I call them the three bigs that are kind of responsible for us getting such an impactful Black Panther movie now, and that would be Christopher Priest, Reginald Hudlin, and Ta-Nehisi Coates, who are the last three artists on, or the last three writers rather, on Black Panther. Christopher Priest kind of resurrected the character back in the 90s, going into the early 2000s. He had gone on, he had started off, he wrote on Power Man and Iron Fist, Deadpool. He created his own series called Quantum and Woody. He actually started at Marvel Comics under a different name, Jim Owsley, before he had started going by his formal name. Christopher Priest is also relevant as it pertains to Black Panther because he's the first person that gave us the gritty, super dark, super serious Black Panther with the all-female bodyguards that are so prominently displayed now.
The Maji or something like that?
Yeah. Reginald Hudlin, who a lot of people know from directing House Party, Boomerang. He's directed episodes of The Office, Modern Family, The Bernie Mac Show. He picked up after Christopher Priest and wrote Black Panther from around 2005 to 2008. And he's the guy that's responsible for giving you the storyline in which Black Panther married Storm.
One of the best iterations, too.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The most recent author, Ta-Nehisi Coates, bringing yet another fresh viewpoint on the Black Panther, because for those who don't read the comic, in the comic, he's sort of modernized in the sense that he's kind of a conflicted king where he wants to maintain the traditional culture and upbringing of the country and all of the things that it reflects, but has to deal with the modern viewpoints of a lot of his citizens and their need, and they're pushing for there to be a more traditional democracy in his country and all of the problems that come up with that.
Sound grounded.
Oh yeah, I mean it's one of those things where it comes through and it's very organic, it's very timely as far as things that people can readily identify with, you know, keeping it, you know, real close to what it is that you can see outside of your doorstep, for lack of a better phrase. And then there's a particular favorite of mine. It's a Top Cow comic created by Adam Freeman and Mark Bernardini. It's called Genius. Genius is the story of a young lady named Destiny Ajayi, who, if movie people out there are listening and are smart, should be looking into scripts and production for that like ASAP. But the basic synopsis of the series, because it was a limited series that went through, is this young lady grows up in South Central Los Angeles and, tired of the way the conditions are with police and politics and the corruption and dirtiness that goes on with that, she literally rallies and unites all of the gangs in Los Angeles and they fight a war against the LAPD. She's recognized as the greatest military strategist arguably ever. It's a very interesting concept. It's a very interesting story, but it's very timely. It has very close ties to a lot of the things and a lot of the issues that we talk about now. And it would look fabulous either streaming or on a box office screen. That is literally gold waiting for somebody to dig up and make money off of. Again, that series is called Genius. It's released by Top Cow Comics. It's not the big two that everybody readily identifies with as far as DC or Marvel, but you know, if you're gonna go through and you're jumping on board and you're recognizing the beauty and the uniqueness and the breakthroughs that this Black Panther release comes through with, it's kind of like the way that we dropped the ball to a certain extent when Obama got elected. Getting him elected wasn't the hard part. Keeping him in office was. Getting these people to the stage and recognizing their value isn't necessarily the hard part, but going through and supporting all of the others that are deserving of the attention as well is where the real job comes in. Recognize a lot of the hard work that some of these artists and writers and people that come up with their own comic imprints and their own characters that celebrate your history, your traditions, your cultures. You know, the fact that this generation can grow up with superheroes that look like them, whereas I had few and far between. It's a huge difference to kids coming up psychologically, being able to, you know, put proper faces and proper identifications to their dreams and aspirations and stuff like that. It's something that really shouldn't be ignored. It's in all facets of life that we have to embrace our identity and embrace our culture, because if we don't, then we leave ourselves open to be bastardized, raped, pillaged, plundered for all of our culture.
And that's
if you're gonna dial in, if you're gonna be in it, be all the way in it. Don't be in it just because you saw a hot movie and then everything else gets ignored. Embrace all of it.
Yeah, and that's one of the main themes of Black Panther 2 they were talking about.
Exactly. This is one of the things that makes that movie special, is because it goes through and it doesn't give you the stereotypes. It gives you the freedom to recognize and pursue your own identity, to appreciate being comfortable in your own skin and not having to buy into somebody else's preconceived notion of who or what you are.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's what's up, man. Good lesson for today, bro. Good lesson for today. My man Wilson always dropping that knowledge on us.
Hey, man, we got to do it. We got to do it.
Sir, it's for the culture. Man, anything y'all got for the people before we wrap everything up?
Black Panther on Friday. Everybody got to go see it.
Hey, we heard what that man said. I want to take a quick second to give a shout out to my best friend, my big brother, Dwight Smith, an assistant coach out at Summer Creek in Humble. Watched him and his coaching staff and his girls, those Lady Bulldogs, play in Pasadena last night against a very underwhelmed Pasadena Memorial team. It was brutal. It was ugly. It was swift and severe. They were up 40-7 at halftime, and they won 85-20 final.
You know what they should do? You know what they should do? They should all join together and go see Black Panther on Friday.
Yeah. That will wash away those tears. That will wash away those tears.
Y'all can all sit and hold hands, kumbaya, and watch.
But shouts out to the Lady Bulldogs. Good luck in the playoffs. Hopefully y'all make that run to San Antonio. Go get them.
Oh, and then shout out to Shaun White, who just won gold at the Olympics on the half.
Sir. Hey, man, why would you expect anything less?
Hey, that's a GOAT.
Yeah, they shouldn't even be brand.
Did y'all ever play like SS Tricky back in the day?
What? Yes,
man. I still have SSX right now. What are you talking about?
Back that game used to go so hard.
I still play that now. What are you talking about?
Man. Hey, man, games. I feel like back in the day, games were much more nostalgic. Like they kind of, it felt more epic. Like it's like, God damn, I ain't never played nothing amazing like this.
Man, I ain't never ran no ski slope as crunk as on SSX. I mean, it had music, it had fireworks, everything. Like SSX runs was like a party. It was like, oh my God, I need to calm down. I need to drink. I
was at a rock concert playing Tony Hawk. I was at a metal concert listening to Twisted Metal.
Damn.
I was on Espionage playing James Bond.
Twisted Metal.
Hey, Twisted Metal used to go hard, man. I used to be rocking out, running around with my ice cream truck, fucking niggas up.
And man, the Rockets are en route to 9 straight. I do gotta throw out the fact Andrew Wiggins is 0 for 12 and negative 23 and plus minus. What is going on?
Pit of misery.
Dilly.
I mean, he's already there. There's no need to send him. He seems to be quite comfortable there right now.
It's crazy. Cat got 29 and 11, and he's a -4. Woo.
Because Andrew Wiggins out there selling the team.
I was about to say, if you got somebody that's out there that's 0 for 12, I'm sure everybody's plus minus ain't too.
And had the nerve to take 5 threes. Like,
hey, let's laugh about this right quick. Me and DeMarcus were just talking about the Timberwolves being a threat, and I was just saying, what happened to Andrew Wiggins?
And I told you he's been playing terrible.
He's bumming it
up. Give
Lost
it to him.
His mojo like Austin Powers in that home.
I don't think he ever had it. He's a slasher. He's a pure slasher. But
shout out to Ron Anderson from waking up finally and getting 21 points.
Man, no, bro. Last time I took it easy on Ron Anderson, this boy shot about 13%.
Oh no! Put him in the rotation. That's the key linchpin.
ISO Joe coming.
ISO. We didn't even hit you with no Rockets talk today. We living on cloud nine. We was good.
I mean, what more can you say that you ain't already said?
we can say we just go.
We just enjoying the NBA. We officially don't have football, so it's all about the NBA. But it's a good time for the league. All-Star weekend coming up, and baseball.
And
as the Astros going to repeat.
Can they defend
the evil empire?
Their title?
again.
Can they weather the storm of the bullseye on their backs?
Who's on baseball talking about the Yankees have no reason not to win this year? I'm like, all right, whatever.
I saw Verlander troll that tweet when put that up there. I was like, hey, don't take that as the Yankees said it. That was on MLB number one. But that's the way that you're supposed to respond if you're a champion. Who said that they the ones to beat?
There you go.
Last time I checked the trophy over here at Minute Maid, pimping.
That's it. That's it right there. And as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
ISO!
Black Panther.
It's time.